Only finding items with a high sell-through rate or high average sales price is just not always realistic or accessible for most resellers. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to style and trend-based sourcing, the business model that has allowed for Sean and I to source and sell hundreds of items a week that don't rely on brand or sell-through rate to sell successfully. Hi everyone, my name is Bethany and I, along with my husband Sean, run Trash Pandas Thrift. We are a six-figure reselling business, and here on this channel, we share with you all of the tips, tricks, and our experiences that we've had along the way, also that you can start and grow your very own reselling business too. And today is a super special video. It is honestly the Trash Pandas complete approach to sourcing and reselling. And with that, I say, I hope that the one thing that you get from this video is that there is not just one way to resell. I will say this, I would love to find a cart full of all really great designer brands. They all have a great high sell-through rate. In our other videos, we do talk about what a sell-through rate is. Basically, these are items that analytically, they're in demand. If you search the item on eBay and you see there's 100 sold of that item, if there are 100 listed, that means it has a 100% sell-through rate, which is a high sell-through rate. But honestly, I just don't find carts of all high 100% sell-through rate items all the time. And I don't find carts full of $100 average sales price items either. And from that, I learned that I just had to do something different. I had to find a way to source items that I could sell and sell for a good amount of money. Not for $5 or $10, but at an average sales price of $25 or $30 plus that I could honestly attainably source in a way that I don't have to wait for every 100,000 items I'm touching is the one that has a 100% sell-through rate and a $50 average sales price. Because honestly, for us, in most locations that we've sourced, that is just a unicorn. And that is not the case everywhere. And I'm sure that it's a lot easier for some other resellers to source a high amount of those items. But when we were listing 50 or 55 items a day, and now when we're selling hundreds of items a week, I need to be able to source things that don't sell just on brand alone. And this comes style-based sourcing. This is honestly one of my favorite ways to source as a reseller because I truly think what sets resellers apart is the ability to attain value from an item by looking it up and seeing what comps say an item should go for, or B, with style-based sourcing, literally give value onto an item. This is kind of what style-based sourcing is all about, right? It's about looking at an item and not just using the brand. Okay, if it has a great brand tag, maybe that gives it value. But what if it's just any other mall brand, but there's something about the style of the piece that means it's really in trend? This is definitely going to rely a lot on something else we talk a lot on this channel, style, aesthetics, and keywords. That is what is at the heart of style-based sourcing. Style-based sourcing requires you to be in tune, super in tune with trends and styles that brands are currently putting out and what consumers are wearing. What are they demanding? There's a lot of consumers in the secondhand market that are brand loyal. But even more so now, more than ever, there is a growing base of secondhand buyers that truly want to look unique. They want to look unique and they don't just want clothing that just has a great brand tag. And that is the opportunity for style-based sourcing. This is what allows us and gives us the power to see an item that maybe, honestly, what if you had an item? It could be from any mall brand and it had this awesome features to it, right? We just did a video on cottagecore, and that is an awesome opportunity right now for style-based sourcing. I was at the Goodwill outlet yesterday, and I just picked up this Max Studio, which isn't a great brand necessarily, right? But they have some really cute pieces sometimes. It was a tiered blue crochet floral maxi dress. It was so cottagecore, it was so boho, it was super in trend, and it was perfect for the season. And all of those factors mixed together, it was a perfect style-based pickup. I knew that it would sell definitely for at least $25. And at a cost of goods at about $1, it's just a no-brainer for me. And I know some other people would walk by and see a Max Studio dress and it really wouldn't matter what it looked like. They wouldn't pick it up because it was Max Studio. And that is honestly where we excel. That is where we shine, and being able to put value on pieces that other people won't, can't, or simply don't know how to. And if you're picking up on a pattern on what I'm saying from our keyword YouTube video, you're completely right. It goes hand in hand. The reason why keywords are such a huge thing that we discuss on our channel is because it is everything. It is everything with getting your style-based pickups to sell. Style-based sourcing is like a combination of two things, right? This is exactly how I describe the process in our keyword videos too. It takes two things. You need to be able to visually identify in an item when you're sourcing features of the item that make it a great pickup. And then once you take it home and you go to list it, you need to be able to have the tools to market your items. Those are style aesthetics in your head when you're actually sourcing, and kind of putting the head of a consumer on your body and thinking to yourself, would someone looking for a cottagecore outfit, would my dress make sense in their complete outfit, right? That's the visually identifying part of it. The second part comes when you take it home, you list it, and then you put cottagecore, right? You put tiered, you put maxi dress, and you market your item to make it sell. You don't rely on brand alone. You market that item using all of the keywords that you could possibly think of, and that item can and will sell. And honestly, I will say, oftentimes, style-based sourcing isn't just a way for you to take, I have a low cost of goods, I feel like I don't have enough items, and I want to make at least $20, $25, $30. That's not all there is to it. Honestly, style-based pickups have been some of the biggest bolos that we have ever found in our reselling career. While I do want to say that style-based sourcing can definitely be beneficial for you if you have a low cost of good, if you're struggling to find inventory, or you're unable to find bolo brands, it's also a really unique challenge. It propels my passion for sourcing and makes it so much more fun. I cannot even begin to describe to you. And yes, I mean, I love finding bolo brands, and I love finding Aviator Nation in the bins. I found Aviator Nation yesterday, and the same time I found that Max Studio dress. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was 10 times more excited for the dress because I knew that I just found this beautiful piece that otherwise would have been left and sent to a landfill if no one else picked it up. But I'm gonna pick it up, I'm gonna use keywords to sell it, and a secondhand buyer is gonna be thrilled to wear it, not just because of the brand. And I always like to say, right, unique pieces are everything. Those are like the gems. My bolos in style-based sourcing are the most unique pieces that you can think of. I'm thinking even handmade items, right? One of a kind, unique items, vintage items, things just aren't that they're not made anymore. The more unique in style-based sourcing, the better, because that means that honestly the pieces just can't be bought elsewhere. And secondhand buyers, when you're showing them an item and you have great keywords, because you need that part too, right? It can't just be an amazing item with no keywords. You have those great keywords. That's how your buyer found your listing. And they look at it and they just can't imagine ever seeing that item anywhere else. They could walk into a mall and they'll never find that item. That is when you've got it. You have got the gem. That is the gem. That is when I always like to talk about my favorite thing to find is a patchwork quilted coat. The ultimate cottagecore unique find, right? That is a gem. That is a style-based sourcing bolo because it is a substantial piece. We'll talk more about what that means and why it affects style-based sourcing, and it is just unique. The more unique a piece, the more valuable it is. And that means it has features to it that give it value, not just a brand tag. Just like that dress that I talked about, the tiering, the floral, the overall style aesthetic of cottagecore, that enabled me to give it that value that I could then pick up to resell. But even more than that, it was a substantial item. Just like a quilted patchwork coat is substantial. Now, what does that mean when it comes to clothing? It is this intangible thing that you can't quite put your finger on. I like to say that the best items are definitely the most unique. Those are the most substantial items. And sometimes that can mean it has more fabric, right? It's more substantial because it's just heavier. It's ornate. It is just, for example, like a long coat, right, in the winter with fur. It's vintage and you just can't find anything like it anymore. that's substantial. A tiered maxi dress, that's substantial. If I found there are quite a few more vintage bolos, for example, that are so substantial because they have features like beading or fully sequin or fully lace. If you're getting the picture here that I'm talking a lot about materials, there's a reason for that. Materials are everything when it comes to style-based sourcing. When I'm sourcing, and as you guys know, I'm a big fan of the bins. I'm a Goodwill outlet sourcer till the day I die, which enables me to look at so many items. And I have to tell you, so many items just are not made of good quality materials. When you are sourcing for style-based things, right, this is a huge blend of not only style, not only trend, but also materials. Honestly, I'm thinking that we're going to do an entire video just on materials alone, because honestly, I could sit and talk about half an hour worth just on materials, but I will say this. The reason why style-based sourcing has so much potential because you're tapping into so many different things. It may seem like brand and sell-through rate is the apex of reselling, because I know that's what a lot of resellers do, and I do that too. Like I said, I found Aviator Nation. I picked that up too. I'm never going to say no. I'm going to sell everything that makes me money. And that is the thing. Your biggest weapon as a reseller is honestly being able to sell everything. I want to be able to pick up a piece and know that I can sell it. Even if the market says that I can't, even if I look it up on eBay and the comps are horrendous, even if there's only 5 sold and like 1 million listed, if I feel like I can confidently sell that item because I know it's a good style-based pickup and I have amazing keywords I can use with it, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to sell it because I'm confident in my ability to identify visually style features and materials that give an item a ton of value. And I also know that once you list an item with amazing keywords, your listing stands out. So many listings out there, just like so many items aren't made of good materials, listings aren't either. A lot of listings just aren't made well. You get it? Oh, that was such a bad joke. That was like a dad joke. But you get what I'm saying. Like a lot of listings just, honestly, they rely on that brand giving it value. And a lot of listings on eBay and Poshmark on Depop, they just don't have a ton of very strong style aesthetic keywords like cottagecore I mentioned earlier. And the more, the better. The more value you're putting on your items. As you can see, style-based sourcing is definitely so much more fun because it gives you freedom. It gives you creativity and flexibility to be able to sell things that other people don't know how to, they can't, or they just won't. And honestly, this becomes easier over time because it's a little bit harder and you can't just search up on your phone things that give style-based items its value. Again, you have to be way more in tune with style, with trend. And because you're doing that, it's going to enable you to sell way more items that you ever could before, and some of them for so much money. Just like those patchwork coats I like to talk about, I would never list a unique coat like that anywhere under $100. That is an absolute bolo in my book. So is an item with great materials. As we're heading into winter, I'm definitely starting to think in my head, style-based sourcing wise, I'm beginning to think about fall, right? And I know it's hot and I'm probably just red sitting here because it's hot in our house, but that is exactly what it comes to with style-based sourcing. It comes with thinking ahead, putting yourself in buyers' minds and putting on that cap, visually identifying what it is that buyers are looking for, getting it to their eyes with those keywords that maximize the strength of your listing. Now, from here, this isn't just you, okay, I'm gonna experiment with all of these different style-based things. No. Honestly, this as an entire topic is going to take me so many videos to be able to get through. I've had so many trials and tribulations with figuring out how to do style-based sourcing in a way that works for me. And that is definitely the entire point. You need to find a way to resell that works for you. For me, style-based sourcing completely opened up our world, and we make so much more money now than we ever did when we did not pick up style-based items. But that doesn't mean that you should just say goodbye to sell-through rate. Never think about it and never focus on what sells for you. Instead, sell-through rate is now super important to me and my business, but I think about it on a very personalized level. Like I said before, I'll pick up an item if I feel I'm confident that I can sell it based on the style and trend features and the keywords. It's also based on the sell-through rate of that item in my store. I'm not as concerned about the sell-through rate of an item, a style-based item, let me say, because I do look up sell-through rate for other items that are not as on trend, but more so we're focusing on brand recognition. Again, we're not going to leave bolo items behind necessarily when it comes to brands. But when it comes to style-based items, I want to see if I'm listing 100 cottagecore items, for example, I want to see that I sold 100 cottagecore items in the last 90 days, because that means I have 100% sell-through rate of cottagecore in my store for the last 90 days. That is exactly what I think that, and I recommend that you should be doing for you and your store. Think about sell-through rate on a micro level for you. Think about, what am I actually selling in my business? Because to be quite honest with you, even if I look up an item that does have 100% sell-through rate on eBay, that's not a guarantee that it will sell for you within 90 days. And you should be keenly aware of what actually sells for you and your business, not just what sells for other people, and not just looks like it should sell based on your comps. I know this sounds a little wacky based on what I just said, because honestly, it's such an artistic way to source when you think of style-based sourcing, but it is tried and true, and it involves a ton of research. And that's what makes it a lot more analytical than it seems upon the surface. I hope that this was a good intro to style-based sourcing. It is at the crux of everything that we do, and to be quite honest with you, what I just shared with you is the Trash Pandas approach. That is the approach that we have tried out and has remained in our business through all of its changes. It is something we will be continuing to do, because no matter what you do, no matter what platform you use, no matter how you sell your items, styles, trends, materials, and keywords, they just sell. I hope that this was helpful for you. If you like this kind of content, please click the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.